Yo, you know what's crazy, man? A lot of people ask me, they say, how do you overcome painful moments? What do you do when pain comes inside your life? And how do you continually move forward when that happens? Dude, you gotta learn how to just use that pain as fuel. There's been so many times when I shot a shot, got rejected, and instead of me sitting there feeling sorry for myself, instead of me sitting there feeling like I wasn't enough, I sat there and said, I'm gonna use this to get better. I'm going to use this to get where I need to get to. I'm going to use this to prove that person wrong. And sometimes you got to be cautious with that because when you sit there and you say, okay, well, I'm going to use this to prove that person wrong, you kind of don't feel like you're enough until you prove them wrong. Until they say, oh, dang, I was wrong about you. Oh, dang, you became more successful than I thought. Oh, dang, you got your muscles up, right? Until they acknowledge the things that you actually have done for you to say, yeah, now I feel like I've actually showed you and proved my worth to you. Dude, I've had plenty of times when I've had moments where I thought, what do I do from here? And I know you have too. But the thing is that you sit there and you have to decide, what person will I become from this moment? From this moment forward, I will do these things. From this moment forward, I will not become this person. From this moment forward, I will shift my mindset, shift my activity for me to become the person that God has created me to be. You know what I'm saying? I've sat here before and I've thought, am I even enough? Right? I had a girl, I shot a shot at a girl. I'm telling you guys a quick story. I shot a shot at a girl one time, man. And she was like, I don't know why you even thought it was okay to shoot a shot at me because you are not who I want you to be. And for a second there, I took that as something very personal, very personal. And I was like, what do you mean I'm not who you want me to be? Why can't I be who you need me to be? But then I realized that means you wanted me to fit into your norms. That means you wanted me to fit inside of what you have going on. Meanwhile, you should be fitting into my program. And then the other thing is that you shouldn't feel like you need to be enough for somebody because the right person you will already be enough for. And so now you're stuck going in the same cycle. How do I feel like I'm enough for this person? How do I show up for this person? How do I be able to make them feel like I should stay in their life? Meanwhile, someone else is waiting for you to accept you the way that you already are. And you're stuck on a woman for her to be able to act right, for her to be able to adjust and just appreciate you for what you are, for her to enjoy your hobbies. Instead, you're following her lead. Everything she wants to do, you're like, yes, ma'am, I got you. You need me to do this? Yes, ma'am, I got you. You want to go here? Yes, ma'am, I got you. You need this money? Yes, ma'am, I got you. Right? That I wouldn't even say it's a boss babe, but that woman that is very dominant will put you in that situation. But what you also need is someone that can accept you for who you are. That way, when you feel like, okay, I want to say something about this, I can actually communicate what the problem is. But a lot of us, they sit in situations and you're like, man, you know what? I got to prove myself to the woman, you know? But when you're going through pain and you're figuring out what you're going to do with it, use it as fuel. I've had many times I literally got hurt and I would use that pain and I would go to the gym. Use that pain and I'd go for a run. Use that pain, and I'm not going to say I took it the right way every single time that I would go to the gym and be productive. Sometimes I would sit there and I would have a moment of silence. Sometimes I sit there and just listen to music. Sometimes I sit there and I just talk to God about what is this situation teaching me in this moment right now. Because pain is inevitable. You're going to go through pain. There's going to be some type of loss. You're going to go through a relationship heartbreak, right? You're going to go through that loss of a friend. You're going to get in an argument. You're going to go through things that you don't like, and it's going to cause you pain. It could even be physical pain. And you're going to be like, man, I hate that I'm in this situation, but I need to continually move forward. What do I do from here? That's the only question you can ask yourself. You know what I'm saying? Pain teaches you a lot about you. And you might think, okay, well, I'm healed. So like now I have self-control. Oh, okay, I've gone through this before, so I know how to maneuver. But the thing is that when you're dealing with different situations and you're dealing with different people, it's going to create a different reaction. So you might think, okay, well, when I was in this other relationship, this thing happened, but now I've been through it. So now I know how to handle it. You go through that same situation with someone else, and now you realize that you haven't healed and you haven't grown from that situation like you thought you actually had. So now you're sitting there trying to figure out, dang, well, maybe there's a lot more things in my life that I need to grow from, that I need to be able to do, that I need to be able to grow into. And you're stuck. You know what I'm saying? Pain is one of the best fuels. Something that gives your heart a little stab, a little jab. You sit there and you think, oh, okay, I see. We need to make some adjustments. We got a little too comfortable. That's how people become cold-hearted. That's how people end up shutting themselves off. You know, I had this one time I was talking to this girl and she told me, she said, the past doesn't matter. It doesn't make you who you are. And I think that's completely false. The past makes everything about who you are. The past creates who you are today. There's no way that you are who you are without the past. You know what I'm saying? There's no way. That's why things trigger you. That's why when things are said, you're like, oh, okay, my mom used to do that. When things are done, you're like, ooh, my dad used to do that. When you feel abandonment, you're like, ooh, my sister used to make me feel that way. Right? When certain topics are brought up, ooh, that's a little sensitive because of the past. But the past makes you who you are. So what do you do whenever you feel hurt? What do you do when you start feeling like you're in a season of life where you're trying to figure out, what do I need to overcome? What do I need to grow from in this season? Because pain is inevitable. You know? Pain is inevitable. And then you have to sit there and think about, what moment has God brought me to be able to react the correct way? What moment has God brought me to be able to react the right way? Because you can get mad, you can get sad, and you can crash out. You know, you can get sad and start crying and actually go through your emotions, or you can just be like, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna act numb, right? You can go through a bad heartbreak and be like, I'm never gonna trust anyone again. You can go through certain moments and be like, I'm never going to do these certain things. That creates who you are. That creates how you view things. That creates how you view people. That creates how you just position yourself. And that's the moment that you have to ask God, what do I need to do in this moment for me to actually grow and be who he needs me to be? You know what I'm saying? So it's just something to think about. Something to think about. If you are using pain as something to shut yourself off from the world, then I almost want to say you're using it the wrong way. God has allowed you to have pain to give you testimony into your life. Without pain, what story would you have? Without that time that you were broke, what story would you have? Without that time that you were homeless, what story would you have? Without that time that you felt like you couldn't get out of something, that you couldn't make it out, then what story would you have? But now God has blessed you to say, I've been through pain, I've been through this hard moment, but he got me through it. And now you have a testimony to talk about because you use that pain to fuel your success. You use that pain to fuel your progress and your growth. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind, y'all. Appreciate y'all for watching. Not watch the video. Appreciate y'all for watching it until this point of the video. Follow my Instagram, King Malone. Subscribe to the channel. Like this video, and of course, I love to hear what y'all have to say about the video. Comment what you think. But that being said, y'all, I'll catch you on the next video, man. I'm gone.